In this video, I will show you how to build a fully local AI agent that can think, search the web, work with files, and keep your data under your control. No API costs, no vendor logins, no sending of prompts, files, or conversations to someone else's server. Everything runs locally, everything stays private. Our stack has three components. First, Hermes Agent. It's an open source AI agent framework built by No Research that's becoming increasingly popular amongst developers building autonomous AI systems. Hermes is what turns a language model into an actual AI agent. It provides memory, tools, workflows, file access, and the ability to execute complex tasks. Next is the brain. We will be using Qwen 3.59 billion model running locally through Ollama. This is the model that powers agents' reasoning and decision making. And finally, SearXNG, a privacy-focused search engine that provides your agent the ability to search the web. Put them together and you get a fully local AI agent stack with no API cost and complete ownership of your data and infrastructure. Let's build it. First, we'll install Ollama. It's the easiest way to run open models locally. With one command, you can install it. For macOS, you can run this command in your terminal or even download it. For Linux, use this command, and for Windows, you can use this command in your PowerShell or either you can download it. And once the installation is done, we will run our model locally. Just go to models to get our model name. I will search for Qwen 3.5. So go to this model. I'm using MacBook with a silicon hardware. That's why I would be using the MLX version of the 9 billion model. I would just copy the name and then let's head back to terminal. In terminal, type Ollama run the model name and hit enter. When you run this command for the first time, it downloads the model and sets up the runtime, and that might take a few minutes. So let's verify it's running. I would say hi, enter, and there you go. We have a language model running locally. Next, we'll set up SearXNG. It is an open source meta search engine. It queries multiple search providers and returns results without any of them tracking you. We run it with Docker because it's the fastest path to a working setup. Hermes has a good documentation on how to set up SearXNG with Docker. I would just follow that. First, let's create the directories. Next, let's create this Docker compose YAML file. Nano Docker compose YAML. And let's copy this content and paste. Save it. Alright, our Docker compose is done. Now let's start the container. Copy this Docker compose up -d. This will start a container in a detached mode. So now our SearXNG container is up and running. Now this is the important step. We need to enable the JSON format for SearXNG because Hermes agent requires output to be in a JSON format, and in SearXNG, JSON format is disabled by default. So to do that, first we'll copy the settings.yaml from Docker container to our file system with this command. And now we need to modify that settings.yaml file. So let's go inside SearXNG. We have this settings.yaml file over here. Let's modify this settings.yaml file. Nano settings.yaml. Scroll down. Under formats, we would add JSON. Alright, all done. Let's save this file. Now we need to move this file again back to the container. You can do that with this command. So this command would move our modified settings.yaml back to the container. And now let's restart our container. Alright, our container has been restarted. So let's verify it works. Awesome. We got 34 results. That means our SearXNG is working. Now we'll set up our Hermes agent. If you haven't installed Hermes, you can do that with just one command. For Linux, macOS and WSL2 users, you can run this command in your terminal. And for Windows users, you can run this command in PowerShell. And this script would install all the prerequisites for Hermes agent and takes you directly to the setup. Now let's head back to terminal. As I've already installed Hermes, I won't be installing it again, but I will show you how the setup would look like. I would create this agent as a separate profile. Hermes profile, create local AI agent. Just hit enter. Now I would start the setup for this agent. So this is what you would see after the installation. I would go with full setup, and here we would select Ollama, use your arrow keys to go down to Ollama and then hit enter. For API key, type Ollama, hit enter. The base URL should be http://127.0.0.1:, the port will be 11434/v1. So this is the base URL that you need to use for Ollama. Hit enter, and for default model we would be using the one that we just downloaded, the Qwen 3.5. Hit enter. Terminal backend, just keep it local. Today I won't configure any messaging platforms, but if you want to know how to configure Telegram with a Hermes agent, you can watch the video linked at the top right corner. So I will just skip this. I would install all the pre-selected default skills. Hit enter. For browser provider, I would just use the local browser. Skip this one too. And for web search provider, here we would select SearXNG. Select, hit enter. For search instance URL, you can go back to Hermes documentation for SearXNG, and here you would see what URL you need to use. It's http localhost 8888. I would copy this, go back to terminal and paste it. And that's it. Our fully local AI agent is ready. Now let's test our agent. To start a chat with your agent, you can just type Hermes and hit enter. But in my case, as I've created a separate profile, so I would be using my agent name to start the chat, and that would be local AI agent. And this is the terminal user interface where you can chat with your agent through your terminal. Here's the task I'm giving to my agent. Find the latest AI news as of June 2026 and visualize your findings in a HTML file. Hit enter. Watch what happens. The agent uses SearXNG for a web search to collect all the latest AI news as of June 2026. Then it synthesizes the information and will generate an HTML file with all its finding. And all of this model, search, file write stays on your machine. Nothing goes to third-party servers. Alright, our agent has completed the task. Let's see what we got in the output. Here's the HTML file that our agent has created. A clean HTML file structured in a way the information is easily readable for the user. It has listed all the important news, the key takeaways, and also quick stats based on the data that it had. Here's why I would set up this way. If privacy is my major priority, my prompts are mine. Nothing goes to the third-party servers. If I ask my agent to research something sensitive or use some of my sensitive personal data, everything would stay on my machine. Next, I get the control on the model to use and I can audit every part of it. And if you have a more powerful hardware, the same setup scales up. Drop in a 70 billion or a 400 billion model, Ollama handles it the same way. More parameters means more reasoning capability. The larger models would even have a larger context windows and more complex task handling ability. The only limitation in this setup is your hardware. If you want to build this, all the links are in the description. Drop a comment on what's your use case for a fully local AI agent. I would love to hear what people are building. If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more. I will see you in the next one.